alarm fire, over explaining, appeasing, scanning their face and for signs you're forgiven. Walk away. Just say, "Oh wow," and then walk away. Don't be that harsh, but like, "Oh, okay." This week on Adjusting, we are talking about adjusting to disappointing others. Today, we're talking about the part of this centering journey no one puts on their vision board. The part where living a life that's actually yours means some people are going to be let down by you, and you don't get a version of this where this doesn't happen. Not your parents, not your partner, not your best friend, not your following. Nobody. So, today we're addressing why disappointing someone can feel like the scariest thing in the world, adjusting the difference between hurting someone and simply not being who they needed you to be, and applying some real ways to hold that discomfort without abandoning yourself to avoid it. So, this one might sting a little bit, but sit back, relax, and welcome to Adjusting. And we're back with another episode of Adjusting Podcast with your host, Justin G. Nelson. We are almost done with this season. I know, Justin, what? Yeah, so I'm ending season 3 with part 3 of the series. And we'll be back in October. Yes, September, October. So we have 3 more episodes left in this season, and then we'll be done. So I hope you all are really gaining some insightful information. I'm feeling inspired to really adjust my center, and I'm also feeling inspired because my birthday was Friday. Yeah, I'm 37 now, y'all. Can y'all believe it? I mean, it kind of just happens organically, but I am really grateful and we just hit 2 years of this podcast. I, so much has happened in these 2 years, and I'm just happy to have had the push and the alignment to create this platform. So again, thank you all for supporting me and continue to do so. I'm trying to hit 1,000 downloads in within a 30-day window so that I can add some sponsorships and ads to the platform for season 4. Season 4, wow. I promise in season 4 I'm going to have guests. Like, that's all I want to do is have guests in season 4. I'm working on getting this new computer and new stuff. But anyway, again, hi, welcome to Adjusting. I'm your host, Justin G. Nelson. Thank you to TJ with TJ podcast for all the edits. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and my Substack. Substack is my hub for all my brands. So my Substack is Justin G. Nelson, but it houses Pacific Cup Studios, and we are growing. We are expanding. People don't know about us yet, but when they know about me and Pacific Cup Studios, they're like, "Oh my God, he does so much." I do, and I do it well. So, carrying on with the season part 3, adjusting your center, building a life around what matters most. Today we're talking about adjusting to disappointing others. Yeah, the cost of living centered. So, before we get to that, let us take a breath. Let us ground ourselves because this episode is going to ruffle some feathers because a lot of us were raised in an environment where you'll be blessed for helping others, and don't miss your blessing by not, you know what? Yeah. Anyway, let's breathe. So if you're driving, focus on the road. If you are in a place where you can take a quick breath, a quick grounding breath, I invite you to do so now. Find a quiet corner, plant your feet flat on the ground. Okay. And then we're going to relax your ankles, kind of breathe through your knees. Just how do you do that? Just try it. Okay. Just try it. And then relax your shins, your thighs, your hips, your stomach. Relax your chest, relax your shoulders, relax your neck, Relax your ears, relax your chin, your cheeks, your forehead, and close your eyes. And we're going to take a deep breath in for 4, hold for 7, and release for 8. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let it all out. Kind of slow down at the end so you can really let it all out. Sorry. All right. So we're going to take one final inhale in and out just to get anything else out of the way that is blocking you from mentally connecting with this episode. All right. So breathe in and out. Perfect. Okay. So let us talk about adjusting to disappointing others, the cost of living centered. Now, this episode is going to talk a lot to my people pleasers out there. As someone who is a natural born people pleaser, okay? As a Cancer, I don't like to see people struggle. I don't like to see people living in discomfort. If there is an issue and I know I can quote unquote handle it quickly, I'll just take it on for the sake of the team, for the sake of the project, for the sake of keeping the peace and making things copacetic, just keeping the ball rolling. Well, sometimes that ball needs to stop. And that responsibility needs to be someone else's. So I want to talk about people pleasing. And it's not a people pleasing is a survival strategy, not a personality trait. Okay. Nobody is born a people pleaser. I was somewhere along the way, being agreeable, easy, low maintenance, and easily accommodating became the safest way to stay loved, to stay chosen, to stay seen. A lot of us equate or we stay in jobs and situations because that validates our dopamine and it gives us that kick, which is like, you know what? Actually, I am doing a great job here. And maybe I was just overreacting and overthinking that email or the scenario or the situation that went left, but I was able to bring it back right. So I'm happy here. Are you sure? You sure? Calling it a personality trait makes it sound like a fixed part of who you are. Calling it a survival strategy tells the truth. It's something you've learned to do because at some point it worked to keep you safe. If you grew up needing to read a room before you could relax, that wasn't a personality. That was a skill you built because you had to. We talk about code switching and having to adjust to an environment for the sake of not standing out too much. Stand out, because at the end of the day, that environment, that room, that table you long to sit for probably was never meant for you to be at. But, some people, we have to be curious. We have to put our toe in the water. We got to touch the hot stove to make sure it's hot. And then we go, oh, this is not for me. Now, again, with most of these topics and most of these conversations, a lot of this, in my opinion, stems from the childhood. Now, where the fear of disappointing others actually comes from, childhood conditioning. We talk about this a lot. If love and attention and peace in your household depended on you being quiet, good, helpful, attentive, impressive, you learn early that your worth was conditional. And then when it comes to trauma and instability, if disappointing someone in your house ever came with yelling, silence, punishment, timeout, whatever, or a whooping if you're a black household, or someone leaving, your nervous system found that away as dangerous, not just uncomfortable. Now, in my cultural and religious communities, a lot of us are raised with the whole the fifth commandment of honor thy father and thy mother. Don't embarrass this family. What happens in this house stays in this house. A good son, daughter, employee, Christian doesn't. It almost matches that should must statement. Those messages taught obedience and self sacrifice as a price of being considered good. Now, where it shows up in your relationships, staying in conversations, plans, or dynamics you've outgrown, because ending them means someone's going to be upset. Someone's going to lash out, or someone's face is going to fall. Like it's going to be a face palm, a palm plant, whatever it's called. And you don't want, like, people don't want that discomfort in the career. Saying yes to that extra project, the unpaid favor, the coming in early, staying late, working through your lunch, the boundary crossing requests, because saying no might make you look difficult. Okay, and the boss knows that other people know. Oh, they'll do it. Just ask them after they had their coffee, or ask them after they get off their call. They'll be fine. In creative work, softening your voice, your art, your truth. It's so it's palatable enough that no one gets uncomfortable, and then wondering later why the work feels hollow. Like, that's code switching in creative language. If you know what you have to offer is above the norm, but because you don't want to make people uncomfortable, and people, like I said, you want to be palatable to other people, you want to meet people where they are. No, make people adjust to where you are. Raise the standard, okay? And listen, I'm jumping ahead. In daily life, over explaining a no, apologizing before you've even said the thing, rehearsing conversations for hours to avoid any chance of upsetting someone. Now, I do this. I will be honest, I rehearse conversations in my head because I deal with a lot of manipulators. Okay, so I have to make sure I don't leave any loophole in that conversation for them to try to catch me, because I've already thought I'm 10 steps ahead of you. So that's not people pleasing. I'm just trying to shake the system. All right, so the cost of people pleasing, like, there is a cost, and we're going to get our money back. We're going to reclaim our time. You're going to reparations with people pleasing. Okay, you start making decisions from fear instead of values. Not what do I want, but what will keep this person calm. I don't want to cuss, but forget them folks. You lose yourself in increments so small you don't notice until you're fully unrecognizable to yourself. Like, you wake up in the morning just like, who am I? Like, when did I get here? How did I get here? A lot of that sometimes comes from grief, comes from carrying unnecessary shame, comes from trauma, comes from years and years of rejection. You shrink your opinions, your needs, your art, your presence, your purpose, your personality, all of that. Anything that might take up too much space in someone else's comfort zone. Why? Question. Why are you giving someone else so much power over your comfort? This goes back to last week's episode about adjusting your access, okay? When you restrict access from certain people, that discomfort, this episode, will come. What they do with the discomfort is not your business. Okay? Because what happens on this side, you're growing, you're thriving, we're readjusting our center. That's for them to figure out. Okay? Marie Kondo them. Great. Cognitive distortion connection here. This is the mind reading. They're going to be upset. I just know it. The fortune telling. If I say no, the relationship is over. The should statements. I should always be available. I should work harder. I should get all of my stuff done. Or you know what? I'll just wait to do my stuff to make sure the team is taken care of. And you know what? I'll work overnight. Yeah, that's what I would do. We're not doing it no more. When you off at 5, the work is done. We're not taking it home. No. So the hard truth: you cannot live. You listening? You, the person listening, the person watching, you cannot live a centered life and keep everybody happy at the same time. Today, when you're listening to this, is the day you begin to put your happiness first. Those two things are mathematically incompatible. Ain't no way. You trying to solve for Z and you only got enough information for A. Right. A centered life means your decision comes from your values, your capacity, your purpose, your potential, your calling, and some of those decisions will land on other people as disappointments. Even when they're not wrong or cruel or selfish, this isn't a flaw in the plan, it's the plan working. You got it? Great. So I've been reading a lot of historical fiction books, okay? I'm a hi-fi guy. Okay, if there's an historical fiction, I want to read it, and I read a lot of historical fictions. I probably said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. I read a lot of historical fiction books and slave narratives and things about like the Black culture because one, this political system, not class, this our government basically is trying to erase us. So, Erasure by Percival Everett. And there is happening a lot in our industries, even in gaming and in movies. Like they're trying to find ways to manipulate us so that we say, well, I could have sworn this was a book, this was a movie. No, never happened. Never happened. And with historical fiction, and why I have so many books behind me is because I know these stories are true. And reading these historical fictions, I saw this on TikTok, and I'm just going to butcher the summary, but reading historical fiction, you're honoring your ancestors. You are telling them, I feel your pain. I thank you for what you went through. I'm not going to let your story die. What I gather and what I take from this, I am going to continue to work. I am going to continue to fight for rights, freedom, equality, all those things. However, in these historical fiction books, a lot of disappointment came up. And a lot of us, when we read it and interpret it, we see the disappointment or we just like, that's not fair. Okay, your opinion is valid, but facts are facts. Okay, so the conductor who kept moving, Harriet Tubman, picture the Underground Railroad the way it's often told in story. A conductor moving people north in the dark, one wrong turn, everybody get caught. Boom. Follow the dipper, da 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 da. Unless you're Portia from Real Housewives of Atlanta, you think it's an actual railroad underground. Thankfully, she learned her lesson. However, as the story goes, there were moments on the journey where someone got scared halfway through. They wanted to turn back. They wanted to go home. We know that story. Like, that is one of the Black History Month lessons that we always will know. Great. And the conductor couldn't let that happen, not out of coldness, but because one person turning back could expose the entire route and get everybody killed, including the very people who wanted to quit. That's the lesson. Whether you take it as literal history or as the legend it becomes, sometimes the person leading has to keep moving forward, even when someone behind them is disappointed, scared, or angry about it, because turning back to manage their fear would cost everyone their freedom. That's the lesson. Your no, your boundary, your centered choice is rarely as dramatic as that. But the principle holds. You cannot lead your own life and also stop every few steps to manage everyone's feelings about the direction you're going. You would never get anywhere. If you went from point A to point C, but you had to double back to B to make sure everyone understood why you went this far, you ain't gonna make it to Z. Okay. By the time you get to F, you're gonna be tired. You're gonna say F it. But let's keep going. So My thing that I love to talk about is the whole ranking of the talented 10th. All right. So, W.E. Du Bois idea of the talented 10th was the belief that a portion of a community will rise, get educated, get resource, and lead, not to separate from the rest, but to pull the community forward with them. It's the whole African notion of Sankofa. You go forward, reach back, pull people forward, yada, yada, yada. It's it's funny. Sorry. It's controversial for good reason and worth sitting with both sides in the gray. It can read as elitist, okay? Like some people matter more, but it can also be understood as recognizing that community needs people willing to occupy the front, take the heat, make the unpopular calls, and carry the weight of leading. And that role will always disappoint someone who wanted a different leader, a softer one, a one who moved slower. Ranks, roles, and structure in a community aren't inherently oppressive. Sometimes they exist as someone can actually meet the hard call instead of the whole group being stuck in conscious paralysis while things fall apart. So bringing it back to the podcast. If you are the one in the family or the friend group who's doing the healing work first, breaking the pattern first, going to therapy first, setting the notion of a boundary first and saying it out loud, you are occupying that kind of first position. You can be that talented 10th in the mental health space. Okay, that role disappoints people who benefited from you staying in the back. Okay, so when your presence itself feels like a disappointment, sometimes it's not even a decision you made. It's the way you carry yourself. Okay, if you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm not letting no MF stress me out today, and somebody wants to ruffle your feathers and you just brush it off and keep going, you have started the cycle of disappointing others. There's a way of holding your shoulders, of meeting eyes, taking up space, and speaking without over explaining that tells the world how you expect to be treated. And some people are going to be disappointed because you stopped shrinking. For creatives, all right, you may have to carry yourself the way you want to be treated before the world catches up. Someone talked about being delusional as it relates to carrying yourself like the celebrity you know you are. Go get you some shades. Okay, get you some shade. Pass some shades out because it's going to get bright. All right. Walk into the room like the celebrity you're becoming, not the apologetic beginner you used to be. That shift alone will disappoint people who preferred you unsure of your own value. Because once you know how valuable you are, the world has to adjust. Now, for my spiritual people, I got some for y'all. Many of us were handed a version of faith that equal goodness with self-erasure. Turn the other cheek until there's no other cheek to turn. Serve until you're empty. Submit until your own voice disappears. Deconstructing that doesn't mean abandoning faith or values. It means separating genuine love and service from fear dressed up as holiness. Okay? A God, a higher purpose, a universe worth believing in doesn't need you to disappear in order for others to be comfortable. If anything, most spiritual traditions at their root are asking you to become fully yourself, which was never going to be anyone's favorite outcome. Okay, when Jesus stepped on the scene, people had to adjust. When he started healing people, they had to adjust. But this ain't Bible study. We're gonna move on to section 2. Now, adjusting, noticing when fear is driving instead of your center. Ask yourself before you agree to something: am I doing this because it aligns with what I actually want, or because I'm trying to prevent a feeling in someone else? A useful check: if this person weren't capable of being disappointed, upset, or hurt at all, would I still make this same choice? If the answer changes, fear was driving. So there's a difference between genuine care versus fear-rooted people pleasing. Genuine care says, I want good things for you, and can hold a no at the same time. Fear rooted people pleasing says, I need you to not feel bad because your nervous system has decided their bad feeling is your emergency. Who said that? The difference shows up in the aftermath. Genuine care feels like peace, even if the other person is upset. No one told you you had to carry their burden, okay? Fear rooted people pleasing feels like anxiety until you fix their issue. Letting someone be disappointed without making it your emergency, that's hard, especially for Christians, okay? Disappointment is a normal human emotion. It's not evidence that you did something wrong. You are allowed to let someone sit in their own disappointment without making it your problem to fix. You're allowed. Just remind yourself of that, okay? It is not your job to fix all the problems. Get somebody else to do it. Basically, this is rejection sensitivity and the fawn response. Talking when your body treats someone else's mild annoyance like a 5 alarm fire. Over explaining, appeasing, scanning their face and for signs you're forgiven. Walk away. Just say, oh wow. And then walk away. Don't be that harsh, but like, oh, okay. Fawn responds plainly. It's the trauma response where instead of fighting or fleeing, so fight, flight, fawn, freeze, uh, uh, you appease it. Basically, you become agreeable, helpful, small, in hopes the danger passes. Disappointing someone can trigger that same ancient alarm, even when nothing dangerous is actually happening. So again, this shows up in the chest. You're going to double text. You're going to send a follow-up text message or email just to make sure nothing was taken out of context. You're going to replay the conversation on a loop, narrating both sides. So, okay, well, did they eat today? Well, I don't. Maybe they had a rough day. Maybe it was me. Maybe I was too harsh. Like all those things that come up, feeling the need to overcompensate afterwards, like being extra warm. Like, your hair look good today. They bald head. They ain't got no hair. I'm like, why are you saying that? But anyway, choosing yourself, even when it costs you someone else's approval. That's basically what I want y'all to get from this today. This is the actual definition of a centered life. Making the choice that's true even when you know it's not universally well received. It might cost you a friendship, okay? Or a relationship. That partner you thought you were going to be with forever, but once you started to have like a small disagreement and they're just like, this ain't gonna work, don't force it. Don't force it. I've seen too many episodes of couples therapy be like, I don't care if it's scripted or not. These are real scenarios that people go through. Don't force it. Just be okay with disappointment. It might cost your family's comfort with the old version of you. Okay, I know when I came back from college, people were like, you changed. You think I was gonna say the same? I went through 4 years of music training and dealing with people and roommates, and you thought I was gonna be the same? No. It might cost you followers, clients, or approval from people who like you smaller. If you do not align with things like me, I don't like people that use AI to create flyers. And it's not because I'm a graphic designer. It's because it erases and removes the personality. And if all these flyers look the same, the only thing's different is the words on the flyer. But like once you start removing this, I'm just like like AI is slowly starting to remove personalities. But this a different thing. But anyway, none of that is proof you did anything wrong. It's proof you stopped negotiating your life down to keep everyone else's peace intact. So, section 3, applying, my favorite part of the episode. Here are 5 things to consider as you learn to disappoint people without losing yourself. Take a deep breath. Number 1, decide what you're actually responsible for. You are responsible for being honest, for being kind, for being important. No, for being clear. Okay? You are not responsible for how someone receives honesty, kindness, and clarity. Now, if you are naturally sarcastic like me, you may have to dumb it down just a little bit, okay? Because my sarcasm goes over a lot of people's heads. Once you separate those two things, though, disappointment starts feeling like it's your fault. Number two, let the relationship tell you something. If someone can only stay close to you while you're accommodating them, that closeness was never about you. It was about your usefulness. It was about what you could give for them. It was about how you made them feel. But when the shoe is on the other foot and you need that support, and they are nowhere to be found, or they're busy, or in my case, oh, I didn't. You got it together. I didn't think you needed me. Did you ask? Did you ask? You didn't. Oh, funny. Yeah. The relationships that survive your centering are showing you who was actually there for you. The ones that don't are showing you something too. Number three, stop confusing a calm reaction with a correct decision. Somewhere you learned that if a choice was right, everyone would understand it. That's not true. Sometimes the right decision for your life will be met with silence, confusion, a little bit of controversy, and some hurt feelings, and it can still be right. Again, their response to your change is not your problem. They will adjust. Number four, give yourself a timer on the guilt, not a lifetime. You don't have to pretend disappointing someone feels like nothing. I'm not telling you to be like cold, because there is a lot of guilt, shame, and judgment that comes with disappointing other people. You don't want to feel like you're letting people down, but those people let you down time and time again, and it's not okay. That is not okay. That is not healthy. That is not natural. That is not divine order. Okay, that's selfish, and you shouldn't have to put up with that anymore. All right. Great. You don't have to pretend disappointing someone feels like nothing. It's allowed to feel uncomfortable for a day, an hour, a week, 2 weeks maybe. The goal isn't numbness though. The goal is not letting the discomfort become the deciding vote on how you live and move forward. And number five, practice being disappointing on purpose in small doses. I know. Say no to something low stake this week, on purpose. Not because you have to, but to prove to your nervous system that disappointing someone won't end you. We talk about small nibble and gorging and small reps as we build our uh, restructuring our nervous system and building a healthy life and a healthy center. So these small reps of saying no, it can be somebody can email you and say, "Are you available to talk?" No. See? Instead of you inconveniencing yourself and changing your whole day around, "I'm not available right now." How does it make you feel? Great. So, small reps build the muscle you'll need for the bigger one. So, here's what I want you to sit with this week. You were never actually supposed to be everyone's favorite version of you. Great. You were supposed to be honest, whole, and centered, and some people were ever going to like the smaller, quiet, more available version of you anyway. That's not a tragedy. That is information. That is you making the adjustments to have a more centered, healthier you. Okay. Disappointing others, it should not be a flex. All right. It should be you realizing your worth, realizing that you deserve people who will pour into you, who will have those difficult conversations to come to a better resolution, to continue to grow together. If the disappointment knocks someone off center, let them fall. Let them fall and they will get back up again, but you don't have to pull them back up because they will try to pull you down. Letting someone down is not the same as letting yourself down. And from here on out, I need you to stop treating those things like they're the same. So, until we meet again, keep adjusting. Bye bye. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.